Hey everybody, welcome back to Anthony's Horror and More. And today I'm here to talk about the movie M3GAN, which is the first film that I've seen of 2023 in the theaters. So I just figured I'd come on here and, give my thoughts on it and everything. And, this is going to be a full spoiler review. So if you haven't seen the film, you might want to dip out until you go see it. And, if you want to come back and listen, go for it. But yeah, I thought overall this film was like a C. I'll just give you the grade right off the bat. I think it was like a C film. It wasn't anything special. It wasn't like the worst thing I've ever seen. It was just very bland, very safe, kind of lifeless movie. It just didn't. It kind of reminds me a lot of the Child's Play remake from 2019, actually. A lot of similarities. It's like a new tech version, of the killer doll story, which is exactly what this is. It's like a robot going around, killing people and stuff like that, instead of, a doll that was, that had the soul of a serial killer put inside or whatever. It's just a robot, so it's just been updated. But this film, this already did a very similar story to this. So it's nothing you haven't seen before. I mean, if you've seen that remake, that Child's Play remake, then you've seen this film basically. Like, I mean, it's very similar. Like, she can control technology. The girl that she's with came from, she lost both of her parents, and in this film, the kid only had his, his single mother who's busy with work and stuff all the time. I mean, it's very just, it's kind of the same thing or whatever. It's PG-13, so all the kills are pretty lame. There's hardly any blood or anything. The lead actress, I think, is pretty wooden. Allison Williams, I thought she was good in Get Out. She played a real, a psycho really well, but in this she was pretty wooden. Because she's playing that like brilliant tech genius who created M3GAN, and she's super smart, but also has, she's used to just being alone and all this stuff. But it's like, she finds out that her sister and her brother-in-law just died, and she's got like no emotion at all, and then same thing with the daughter, who I also thought did a good job, Violet McGraw, who, I thought that young actress did a really good job, actually. But there's just like, they hardly show any emotion towards what happened. I mean, she lost her parents. The chick, the one that's taking care of her, she lost her sister, and there's just like hardly any emotion at all. It's very odd. This movie is also an hour and 42 minutes, which is a bit long. I think you could have cut this to an hour and 30 minutes easily. It's very slow. The pacing on this is not very good. I really don't like the pacing of this film. It just takes so long to get into it, and it's not doing, and the problem is the characters, you just don't really care about any of the characters that much. They're not interesting. The most interesting character in this entire movie is actually the boss, the dickhead boss guy, Ronnie Ching, who plays David. He's like the funniest part of the movie. I mean, at least he has emotion, you know what I mean? No one else in this movie really is showing any emotion. And M3GAN, the young lady who plays M3GAN, Amy Donald, I thought she did a really good job portraying M3GAN. I mean, M3GAN was creepy enough. It's not like, she was good. I mean, I liked it. I liked when she did her crazy movements around, and when she starts chasing, David at the end, where he's like, M3GAN, what are you doing here? And he's at the end of the hallway, and then she just starts doing that dance, and then she chases him down or whatever. And that was pretty cool. I like that. Like, there were, anytime M3GAN was doing her, crazy killer doll thing, it was good. But it just took so long to get there. I mean, it just, when she kills the kid out in the woods, she rips his ear off, and then he goes running and he gets hit by the car. Like, that was good, but it just took so long for it to get there. Yeah, so it's just like, okay, what are we doing? It's like, so like, and then like I said, it's PG-13, so all of the kills are very tame. I mean, the one, bitchy like next door neighbor lady, the dog gets killed, but it's like off screen. The bitchy neighbor gets like this chemical shit sprayed all over her and on her face and stuff, but it just looks like she's getting blasted with water. It just looks like somebody's taking a super soaker and just blasting her with water and shit. I mean, it doesn't look like she's dying or any like it's not gory at all. It's just, and then same thing like when David, her boss, when that guy gets killed, he gets stabbed like right outside the elevator. I mean, there's hardly any blood. The guy that gets killed in the elevator, you see like the aftermath of it after the elevator doors open. He's laying in a pile of his own blood, but it's just like, it's all very tame. The kid that gets his ear ripped off, like he gets hit by the truck, but you don't really see it head on. You just kind of see a little bit of the aftermath and stuff. But even an R-rated version of this film, which I think that this movie probably will get an unrated cut. I don't think it's not enough to save it, because it's the pacing is just not good at all. I mean, it takes so long for this to get started, and the characters aren't interesting enough to keep you engrossed in what's going on long enough to get to the kills, which are like, I don't know, like halfway into the film. So it's like, I just didn't care for it. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything else. Then you got like the two best friend characters. It's like, why didn't they die? Like, they were in the lab. You could have easily killed them off. You could have had a couple more, you could have made the body count a little bit higher. It's like, okay, are you thinking like, well, if we make a sequel, we want to have a couple of those characters around? It's like, but you didn't do anything with them. You know what I mean? So if that's what you're thinking, but you didn't build those characters up, those supporting characters, like her two like lab, friends, or lab partners or whatever that work with her. It's like, they, one of them, the one is, Jen Van Epps, who plays Tess, and Brian Jordan Alvarez, who plays Cole. Those were like her two friends. But it's like, they didn't do anything. They were just very, I mean, they were okay, but you don't care about them at all. So who cares? Like, why even leave them alive? You should have just killed them off and at least given us some interesting kills or something. I don't know. The directing was also very like, I don't know. It didn't have any signature to it. It's like, there's no, it's like, there's no signature style or anything to the directing. It was very just, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't anything notable either. It was just okay. It was just okay directing. The score, barely even remember it, and I like a good score, but I barely even remember this. It had an okay soundtrack. It had a decent, like when M3GAN starts singing and stuff, that's very creepy and everything. Like, so that was kind of, that was kind of okay. I mean, like, it was, I mean, it's not really, it's played off to be creepy. It didn't creep me out. I mean, this movie, I'll put it to you this way. My mom and I went to go see this, and the theater was pretty small. I still actually have my frozen pop right here. The theater was pretty small, so it fit like, it was packed, but it was a small theater, but it was definitely packed. And it was mostly like teenage girls, a couple kids actually, and then just like, there were a couple dads in there that were there with their families, and that was it. But it was like a lot of teenage girls and stuff. And I think that's primarily who this is targeted for, because that's why it's PG-13, and it's, it's a female, doll killer, you know what I mean? And I think it's targeted for the teenage girl audience, and because they loved it. The theater, it was actually a good theater experience. People were like, like audibly gasping and like, like, oh my gosh, she's, and like I said, when she started singing or doing any of her little creepy things, like, all the girls in the theater were like, oh my god, I mean, you know, like for somebody like me, even my mom, you know, because she likes horror too, like we're just sitting there like, whatever. I mean, it's not really that, you know, it's like, okay, you know, you, like I said, you've seen it, you know, before, you know, like when you're a hardcore horror fan, it's just like, I don't know, you know, that kind of stuff is just, it doesn't scare you anymore. It doesn't like really creep you out or anything. But, you know, for people that just kind of like normies, like just normal movie goers and stuff, they were having a great time. So I think you'd have a great time if you're in that demographic, you know, and stuff. But I think for the majority of people, this, like I said, this isn't going to be that interesting, and it's not breaking any new, you know, it's nothing that you haven't seen before. If you've seen this movie, you know, you've kind of seen M3GAN already in a lot of ways. I mean, so yeah, that's about it. I think I've covered just about everything. So, yeah, you know, I appreciate, you know, everyone who watched. You know, if you like the movie, that's great. You know, me personally, this is probably like a one and done. My mom said the exact same thing. She gave this a C as well. We were both like talking about it afterwards, and we were both like in agreement with everything. You know, it was just, it had no heart. This was a very like shallow, heartless, like no soul kind of movie. It's just like you watch it once and then you forget about it a couple days. And, you know, a couple days from when you see it, you just it's completely out of your mind. You're not, you know, you're not thinking about it afterwards. It's not like, oh, remember the scene, remember this, oh, what do you think they meant by that? There's nothing to ponder on. It's just, you know, in one ear, out the other, and that's it. So yeah, so I appreciate you guys, you know, stopping by to listen to me talk about this movie and everything. Sorry that it wasn't a more positive review, but I gotta be honest with you guys. You know, I gotta give my honest thoughts. So leave a comment down below. Let me know if you enjoyed M3GAN. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. You know, maybe there's something I missed, whatever. Leave a comment down below. You know, please hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, you know, because at the very least, you know, you'll always get an honest review from me. So anyway, take it easy, guys. Peace out.